welcome you all to the Bhagavad. So we will quickly recap the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita so far, whatever we have done. So let's just go through the division of the chapter. So this chapter has 5 divisions. The first division is setting up the battlefield. We saw that Dhritarashtra was asking Sanjaya, Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yutsava Mamaka Pandavasheva Kim Akurvata Sanjaya. He wants to know if the battle is going to happen. He knows that both the armies have assembled, but still Dhritarashtra was not sure whether the battle will happen. Why? What are the 2 reasons? Because it's a
Kurukshetra.
It's a Dharma Kshetra, the pious place. So by the influence of the pious place, he was worried if at all Duryodhana's mind would change and he would go for some compromise. So we saw that. And then the second division was Duryodhana's diplomacy. So Duryodhana did not expect that the Pandavas will also have a good number of army supporting him. So when he saw that he had many great kings who were supporting him, so Duryodhana became anxious and he was using various diplomatic ways in which he thought that he can inspire his own army to fight better, because the fear of losing has already stuck in him. So the first thing he says is he goes to whom? He goes to Dronacharya. And what did he say? Tava Shishyena Dhimata. Your students are so smart, so intelligent that they learned the art of fighting, and then they are fighting against you now. Particularly, he said the name of whose name he said particularly?
Draupadi Putra.
Not Draupadi Putra. He said Drupada. Because the son of Drupada is? Who is son of Drupada? Drishtadumna. Because he was born to kill Dronacharya. So Duryodhana wants to just provoke him by telling his name, not to go for any compromise. And then there were 17 great Maharathas who are mentioned in the Pandavas army. Who are Maharathas?
One who have thousands of armies.
10,000 armies.
10,000 armies.
So they are very powerful. Maharathas can fight against great. So there were 17 Maharathas mentioned in the Pandavas army. So now again, Duryodhana is going to Dronacharya, and he is also talking about his own strength of the armies. And then hearing all these things, Bhishma Dev, he blows his conch shell just to, why did he blow the conch shell? What was the reason for Bhishma Dev to blow the conch shell?
To pacify Duryodhana.
Yeah, that was the reason, because he could understand that Duryodhana is under a little bit of stress. And then we saw the next division was victory is certain on the Pandavas side. We saw various signs of victory in the Pandavas side. So what are some of the signs of victory? So we saw that Madhava, the goddess of fortune, was present with them. And Agni, the chariot, was presented by Agni Dev. And then Krishna himself was present. And then what about the conch shells of the Pandavas? They were all transcendental, Divyam. Okay, and then what other victory signs was there? Kapidwaja, who was present in the flag of the Pandavas army? Hanuman was already Hanuman was present, and the heart of the Kauravas got shattered. That is also a sign of victory. Whose heart gets shattered? One who is going to lose. So that was another sign. These are few signs of victory we saw where the victory was certain in the side of Pandavas. And then the next division is Achyuta. Krishna Achyuta is infallible. So now Arjuna says, Sedayor Ubayor Matye Ratam Stapaya me Achyuta. So please place the chariot in between the two armies. So why did he particularly use the word Achyuta here? Because what position Krishna is taking here? Krishna became the
who
chariot
cannot fall.
driver.
Yeah.
Chariot driver of Arjuna. It looks like Krishna is a servant of Arjuna. But can Krishna ever become servant of anyone? No. So because Krishna is Bhakta Vatsala, he is very, very compassionate, and he is very, very loving to his devotees in reciprocating. So because of that, he became a chariot driver for Arjuna. That doesn't mean that Krishna's position is fallen. We are Chutas. Our position is in fallen condition, but not Krishna's position. So to clarify that, he uses the name called Achyuta.
Achyuta.
So we saw that Krishna is infallible. So there are sloka number 21 to 27 speak about that. And we also saw that Arjuna was addressed as Gudakesh. Why he was addressed as Gudakesh? What is meant by Gudakesh?
He's measuring why he doesn't want to fight.
No. Gudakesh means one who conquers sleep, one who conquers ignorance.
Okay.
Yeah. Here, Arjuna seems to be ignorant that he doesn't want to fight. He is a friend of Krishna. He knows that this is already decided by Krishna, but still Arjuna is hesitant to fight. So not really that Arjuna is ignorant. He is made to act ignorant so that Krishna can speak Bhagavadgita. Otherwise, with whom Krishna can speak? If Krishna wants to speak to somebody, they should also have a qualification. The qualification of Arjuna here is Bhakto se me sakacheti. Arjuna is a devotee as well as a friend. So that is why Krishna chose to speak this science of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. So we should also not think Arjuna to be an ordinary person, like how Krishna is addressed as Achyuta, Arjuna is also addressed as Gudakesh here.
Gudakesh.
So these are all, few words which exemplifies their quality. Okay. And then we saw sloka number 27 to till the end of this chapter, Arjuna's reason for not fighting. So Arjuna is giving so many arguments or so many reasons for not fighting in this war. So what is the first reason Arjuna is giving?
Compassion.
Kripaya paraya vishtu. Overcome by compassion. He thought that how can he fight against his own friends and relatives? And because of that, what happened to his body? There were a lot of bodily symptoms which Arjuna is showing. His lips were all quivering. His body were
bow
quivering.
And arrow was slipping.
Yeah, slipping. Gandhi was slipping. Mouth is drying up. And he was
Hair
not
was
even able to
standing.
stand.
Skin was...
Yeah, skin is burning. So we can see the symptoms of a person who is in depression, like that in the body of, you can see whatever the Arjuna is exhibiting. But why he's exhibiting all these things? Because he was overcome by compassion. Okay, and then we saw that the next few slokas talks about laws of enjoyment. And then we particularly saw a verse, Nimittani cha viparinna. So in this material world, most of us are doing something, expecting something to happen. But what does it happen? It happens exactly opposite. We have certain goals and we work towards it, but what is the result is exactly the opposite. So that is called Nimittani Viparitani. So here Arjuna says that I am coming for some reasons to fight, but whatever I see is exactly opposite. I am not going to get anything out of this war. So generally the Kshatriyas fight, there will be some reason for them to fight. But here I don't find anything at all. Rather, all my people will be killed. So if they are all killed, then with whom will I enjoy? So what is the purpose of my fighting? I'm coming for one thing, but what I see is exactly the opposite one. So that is called the Nimittani cha Viparitani. And we saw sloka number 30 to 35 talking about it. And again, he lists the names of all the relatives, friends, and everyone here. And then the next division is fear of sinful activities. So he thinks that papam eva trayet asman. He thinks that he will commit sinful reactions. Why? By killing his own grandfather and his own relatives, his own teacher. He says that he will be doing sin, and he's asking, Madhava, you are the husband of
fortune,
goddess of fortune, all auspiciousness, and how can you make me to do something that is inauspicious? Sinful activities means you're attracting inauspiciousness, right? When you do sinful activity, what happens?
The goddess of fortune doesn't come away.
Yeah, she leaves away because the entire place becomes inauspicious. So how can you make me to do something that is inauspicious, you being the husband of the goddess of fortune? And the next sloka, he also uses the word called Janartana. Janartana means what? One who gives protection to the whole world, Jana. And how can you make me to do such an act which is not auspicious? So these are the few things which Arjuna is presenting under the section of fear of sinful reactions. And then the last division again, the last subsection is
talking about family
destruction of family traditions. So in this, what is he talking about? Destruction of family tradition. Family tradition. So kulakshaye pranashyanti. So if the family tradition is all destroyed, what will happen to the people? People will not do whatever the samskaras that they are supposed to do. We went through the 10 important samskaras, which every human being has to follow that. So if there is no elders to guide them, then all these samskaras would be lost. And in the next sloka, he is particularly talking about Srishu Drishtashu Varshena. The women in the family will get polluted. So what happens if there is no men to protect the women? Then the women will be taken advantage by the other men. So because of that, what kind of population will be born? Varna Shankara. Those population which will not follow the proper Varnashrama Dharma. Varnashrama Dharma is a scientific society provided by Krishna for our upliftment. And what are the 4 varnas and 4 ashramas? So by living according to your varnas and by living in the 4 ashramas, what happens to a living entity is gradually getting purified. And what is the goal of life in the Vedic culture? The goal of life is to attain
moksha.
Attain moksha. That is the goal of the life. So the Vedic society is structured in such a way that it facilitates the living entity to attain the moksha. So these 4 varnas and 4 ashramas is the society, is the scientific society which is provided by Krishna himself. Who gave Varnashrama Dharma to us? It is Krishna himself. And what will happen? Those kids who are born, Varna Shankaras, who are not born upon performing proper samskaras or were born out of other illicit relations and other things, they will cause disturbance to the society. Okay, so he says that then the whole society will be full of disturbance. And in the next sloka, he says that Shankaro naraka eva kulagnanam kulasyacha patanti pitaro hesham lukta pindo dakakriya. What will happen to the ancestors? Then they
will not get the
food and water. And some of them, they are very sinful that because of their sinful activities, they may not even get a gross body. They may be in the form of a ghost roaming around because of their sinful activity. So by providing food and water, these souls, they get little bit liberated from their position from whatever the terrible situation they are, they get liberated. So it is very important to offer this pinda and udaka, food and water, to the departed ancestors periodically. There is a period called Shraddh, right? Which every ancestors is provided with the food and the water. Yes, it's very important to do that. However, in the purport, Prabhupada has mentioned that for a devotee, such a ritual is not necessary because the devotional service is so powerful. So just by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, by following the process of devotional service, one can liberate not just 2 or 3 ancestors. How many ancestors you can liberate? You can liberate, so many hundreds. In fact, in the Prabhupada, in the purport has mentioned that one can liberate hundreds and thousands of ancestors. So the devotional service is very, very powerful. When you're offering Pinda and Udaka, you can only benefit only 3 ancestors, 3 departed people. Even in Pitraloka, only up to 3 generations can live. The moment the 4th person comes, the 3rd person has to come down again to the Mrityulok. So Pitraloka is also very much in the material world, but they have better facilities there to live. So it is not that Pitraloka is not Vaikuntha. It is not outside the spiritual world. That is also a temporary place. Even the Swarga is also a temporary place because that is also within the material realms. So that is also not, but at least you have to help them with whatever condition they are. Correct. Some rituals is important. Yes, for a devotee, because he is directly connecting himself with Krishna. But if you're not in the devotional process, at least offering this Pinda and Udaka is very, very important. Then today we could see, do you think the current generations, they have belief in all these things? What do they think? One of the scientists told, Prabhupada mentioned in one of the class, he said that, okay, let's do one thing. You keep the food down. I'll be upstairs. Let me see how I'm going to get the food that is kept down. So he was basically, what was he trying to do? A mockery of the rituals. You're just offering here. They already departed. I mean, how does it go there? But that is also, there are many ways of eating. Eating can also happen in a subtle level. Not necessarily we have to eat with whatever we do, like money. Earlier, money transactions was only with money. If I have to give 10,000 rupees to Shweta Mataji, I have to literally carry the cash and give it to you. Was there any other way of doing the transaction? Today, right now, within few seconds, I can transfer you 10,000 rupees. How is the money transfer happening? Is it not happening in a subtle level? But 30 years ago, if I say that I can just send you the money from wherever I am within the seconds, will the people believe it?
No.
They will not believe it. So this is our own ignorance, saying that only what I see. But do I see the money going to your place? Do I actually see? I don't see that. It subtly get transferred. Do I see how from my phone, how is it traveling to your phone?
Correct.
I don't see that, but you receive it. So through the medium of kusha, the grass, until the food and water reaches the ancestors. And it is offered once a year because in Pitraloka, 1 day of Pitraloka is equal to 1 day. And 1 year, 6 months. 6 months of our time in our earthly planet
is 1 day.
And 1 night is another 6 months. 6 months. So 1 year for us is just 1 day for them. So that is why the food is offered once a year.
Once in a year.
Yeah. But again, ritually, people offer differently. Like Brahmanas, they offer every new moon day, Amavasya day, it's offered. But at least once a year is important to be offered. So it offered periodically according to one's own tradition and rituals. The food and water is offered periodically. So that is what we saw that. So what will happen? Then all the community projects and everything will be devastated. Today we are seeing already. How is the society? How is the today's society? There is war, there is
Already
pestilence.
deteriorated.
Yeah, everything is contaminated. The society is fully contaminated. Like few years back, if you say 100 years back, a woman and women can get married, a man and man can get married. What will you think? Is your mind in proper state? That's what you will think. Do you ever think that it can be acceptable?
No.
But 50, 20 years back, you have kind of heard, okay, yeah, somewhere it happens. And now we see basically it is happening.
Happening also.
It is happening. So what is all these things, or the degradation of the society? The Vivaha ceremony is mainly performed for what? To obtain a putra. Why you need a putra? A putra is the one who offer you, who will deliver you, who will help you to get moksha. So the entire marriage is happen so that you get a putra. That's the purpose. But today, everything is happening only for your own sense gratification. There's no culture, there's no tradition, there's no reason why we do this. Why is it important? What is the goal of the married life? It's an institute. Correct. Marriage is also an institute. So where a person is properly trained in the brahmacharya ashram, he observes proper celibacy. He learns to control his senses. And then he is allowed to enter to the grahastha ashram, where he has a particular, yes, some allowance is provided for sense gratification. However, it is only for obtaining children, progeny, not for any other purpose. And at 50 years, vanaprastha, what does the family do? They have to slowly try to retire from the family life. They have to go to many holy places and pilgrimage and try to look for self-realization. And then at 75 years or so, they should completely get into renunciation and take sannyas. So the system was so beautifully designed where one can gradually get detached. So there is some training given, and there is some allowance to enjoy the family life. And there is also the way in which you can slowly get detached. But today, how are the elderly people living? Do you think they are living in a detached way, or the society is providing things that they get more and more attached?
No.
More and more attached. We see most of the elderly people, they are glued with their TV. And today they also learned how to use their phones. Correct? So how will they get detached from this material world if they don't know that what will happen to them after their death? Where will they go? Do you think that they are even worried about all those things?
No.
No, they're not worried. So the institute is totally collapsed. So Arjuna, 5,000 years back, he could foresee all these things. Right? It's so surprising how Arjuna could see all the things. Whatever Arjuna said, we see literally it's happening today. But he said in Dwapar Yuga, maybe it was not happening then, but it is happening now. Okay, so we'll do today's slokas. Please repeat after me. Utsanna kula dharmanam
Utsanna kula dharmanam
manushyanam janardana
manushyanam janardana
narake niyatam vaso
narakam niyate vaso
bhavati tanunushrama
bhavati tana nushrama
utsanna kula dharmanam
Utsana kula dharmanam
manushyanam janardana
manushyanam janardana
narake niyatam vaso
narake niyatam vaso
bhavati yanunushrama.
bhavati yana yushrama.
Who wants to do this sloka? Would you like to do, Uma Mataji?
Ji. Utsana kula dharmanam
Utsanna kula dharmanam
Manushyama Janardana
Manusyanam Janardana
Narake Nityatam Vasu
Narake Niyatam Vaso
Bhavati Yanushasha
Bhavatyanunushrama
Bhavati
Bhavatvidyanunushrama.
Bhavati Yanayashrama.
Yes, Mataji. Word to word translation and purport.
Utsana spoiled Kula Dharmanam of those who have the family traditions, Manushyana of such men, Janardhana, O Krishna, Narake in hell, Nityanam,
Niyatam.
Niyatam, always, Vasha, residence, Bhavati, it so becomes, Iti, thus, Anushishya,
Anusushrama.
Anushrama, I have heard my disciplinic succession. O Krishna, maintainer of the people, I have heard of disciplinic successions that those who destroy family traditions dwell always in hell. Purport by Prabhupada. Arjuna bases his argument not on his own personal experience, but on what he has heard from the authorities. That is the way of receiving real knowledge. One cannot reach the real point of factual knowledge without being helped by the right person who is already established in that knowledge. There is a system in the Varnashrama institution by which before death one has to undergo the process of atonement for his sinful activities. One who is always engaged in sinful activities must utilize the process of atonement called the
Prayachita.
prachita. Without doing so, one surely will be transferred to hellish planet to undergo miserable lives as a result of sinful activities. Hare Krishna.
Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swamiti Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So here we can see an important point. Arjuna is talking not on what is his opinion. He is talking based on what he heard from the authorities, Anunushrama. So today we see many people, even the spiritual organization, they talk what they think is correct. But that's not the way to think. It doesn't, because we are all with imperfections. We saw in the little bit of introduction classes, we have imperfection. So we cannot come with a proper knowledge. So this has to be heard from the authorities. So Arjuna heard properly. He's just not saying what he thinks is. So that is very important for us to understand, to hear from proper authorities. So today it so happened that in WhatsApp we get some message. We do not know whether it is authorized or who has said, and without even checking the credential, we further forward to someone and we further forward to someone. So what is the society filled with now? With all the useless and wrong messages, correct? So here we can see that in this sloka, the two things are mentioned. So Kuladharmanam, we can see what is the family tradition. Those who are human beings, they have got family rituals like Jati Dharma and Kula Dharma. Like Krishna said, Chaturvarnam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasya. So there are 4 divisions based on what? Guna and Karma. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. So unless the human society accepts the principle of Varnashrama Dharma ordained by Krishna, the Supreme Lord, he is not considered among the human being. So it is very important for us to follow the Varnashrama system to be a human being. Otherwise, we are just living like cats and dogs. They are as good as animals because there is no regular systematic principle to live as a human being. Therefore, in Vishnu Puran, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was talking with Ramananda Rai, he inquired him, what is the actual aim of life? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. But he's asking from his most intimate servants, what is the goal of life? Sadhya sadhana, the goal of life is, the Darwin's theory gives some idea about the progressive evolution. They say that how the species have evolved from amoeba, from single cell to multi-celled, and then gradually the species have evolved till the human being. But the Darwin theory, does it talk about the goal of life? Does it talk why there is a progression? Whereas Padma Puran says that there are 84 lakh species of life. Everything is already there. Nothing has evolved. 84 lakh species are already there. So the living entity is wandering in the cycle of transmigration of the soul. So we are all just moving from one body to another body. Like how we move from one rented apartment to another rented apartment. Like that, the soul is just moving from one body to another body. Why the living entity is wandering? We need to question, why are we wandering from one apartment to another apartment? So in the material world, what do we do? To stop the wandering, what do? We try to buy our own house and settle down. So some intelligence we have got, how to stop the wandering here. So, but have you ever thought that, how do I stop wandering myself? Because I am the soul. Unless otherwise I get liberated, I am going to wander into different species. So he is anchoring after that. So there must be some goal of life. That is called sadhya. Because we are all struggling here for happiness. What are we struggling here? Each and every one of us. Whether we are working or everything, the struggle is for being happy. So here,
happiness.
when Ramananda Rai was asked by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu this question, he did not say that it is in my opinion. Like here, like Arjuna said, Anunushrama, I have heard it. So the Ramananda Rai says that the real purpose of the life is what? To make
Devotion.
to obtain the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That should be the real purpose of the life, is to satisfy the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. Just like we are our citizen. As a citizen, what is our duty? We need to satisfy the government. So one who is serving the government very nicely on the Republic Day, are they not recognized with different titles? Like Padma Bhushan, Padma Shri, are they not recognized a very good citizen?
Yes.
So like that, so when you are a good citizen, you are being recognized. So similarly, but we know that there is a supreme controller. Who is the supreme controller? Is Krishna. So there is a controller in every life. For example, here we see that within the city, we have a mayor, and then we have a chief minister, and then we have prime minister. So we see that there is a hierarchy. There are all small controllers and there are supreme controllers. So here, who is our supreme controller?
Shri Krishna.
Krishna. So Krishna, everything is happening under his control. So our goal of life is to satisfy Krishna. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. He is the cause of all the causes. So this is a Shastric injections. Like there are many controllers in the planet. So there is a controller. We saw each and every planet, there are different controllers. There are so many Brahmas. Each Brahma is a controller of one Brahmanda. And in Brahma Samhita, it is said, Yasya Prabha Bhagavato Jagadanda Koti. Koti means there is unlimited Brahmandas. Just not one or two. From each breath of Krishna comes unlimited Brahmandas. So for each and every Brahmandas, there is a ruler. Who is the ruler? Brahmaji. But who is the supreme ruler? Supreme ruler is the Krishna. So what is the difference between a good citizen and the one who does not obey? What is the difference? The good citizen is always try to satisfy the government. by abiding the laws given by the government. Is that not the role of a good citizen? So similarly, our ultimate goal should be to satisfy the supreme government, Krishna, because Krishna is a supreme. These universes, they are all Krishna's kingdom. There are many kingdoms, just like we have got many universes within the material world. Similarly, there are many spiritual planets in the spiritual world. These are all the common sense affair. Therefore, our business is to satisfy Krishna. Vishnu Aradhana. Nate vidu swartha gatim hanna Vishnu. So, this is how we need to have the goal of the life is to satisfy the Krishna. So we saw here, okay. Manushyana Janardana. So the human life we have got is a great responsibility. Utsanna Kula Dharma. Utsanna Kula Dharmana. So in the human life, we need to understand the goal of the life. We need to have some rules and regulations. If somebody does not care for rules and regulation, Utsanna means what? Everything gets destroyed. Without rules and regulations, everything gets destroyed. Kula Dharmana, Manushyana Janartana. Narake niyatam vaso babati anunushrama. So what happens when we do not follow the proper rules and regulations of the human life? What will happen to the ancestors if they are not offered periodically the food and water? If the rules and regulations are not followed, what will these ancestors, where will they dwell?
They'll go to hell.
They will always dwell in the hell. Whatever, if you do good thing, that also benefit them. If you do bad thing, that also causes suffering to them. So whatever we do, indirectly we are responsible for their enjoyment or suffering, right? Therefore, Ramananda Rai quoted, the aim of life is to satisfy Vishnu, to become Vaishnava. Even to become Brahmana is a lower status. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see that when Madhavendra Puri, when he was installing the deities, there were so many caste Brahmanas, but he initiated them to become Vaishnava. Because without becoming a Vaishnava, no one has the right to worship Krishna or Vishnu. So Vishnu will not accept anything from anyone unless he is a devotee. He accepts only on the basis of love. There is a verse in Bhagavadgita, chapter 9, verse 26. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati. One who offers me, patram means leaf, pushpam means flower, patram pushpam phalam fruit, toyam water with love. One who is offering with love, I will accept it. So Vishnu is capable of preparing 10,000 times palatable dishes than what we can offer. Do you think Krishna is hungry? If we don't feed Krishna, Krishna will go hungry? Do you think Krishna does not have capacity to prepare very nice dishes for himself? He's also called Atmara. But the real thing is bhakti. Because we are offering it with love, Krishna accepts it. So Vishnu Aradhana means Vishnu should be the aim of life. Means one become a Vaishnava means a regulated life, not a destroyed life. One should not live like a cat or a dog. Vaishnavana means a regulated life. So Utsanna, human life, they do not follow, if they do not follow the regulative principle of the family life, then what happens? The entire family gets destroyed. The forefathers remain in the hell for long time. So it is not important just because you're born in the family of Brahmana, I know everything, my duty is finished. No, just being born in the family of Brahmana does not make you a Brahmana. One should act accordingly. For example, if Uma Mataji is the daughter of a judge, does that mean that you will also be given that post of judge after your father leaves that post?
Not necessary.
Unless otherwise she qualifies herself. Right. So similarly, just because you are born in a particular family, Brahmana family, one should, I see many people, they say, we are Brahmins. We know everything. You know everything, but are you acting accordingly? It's important to act also, na? Because what did Krishna say? Chaturvarnam Maya Krishna Guna Karma Vibhagasya. This division is based on guna, your nature, and karma. Karma means your activities. So these 4 divisions are not based on the caste. This is only based on your guna and karma. We see many foreigners who are born in the family of mlechas or chandalas in such a, low graded family. Today they are all exalted Vaishnavas and they are all exalted sannyasis. How is it possible? Are they born in a family of Brahmana? No. And today we see Brahmanas, they are living in the West or even within India today. They are so degraded. They eat meat, they drink alcohol, and they have relationships with the opposite gender very easily. So does that make them a Brahmana? Just because they are born in the family of Brahmana? No. So this is very important for us to understand. So unless otherwise, there is a rules and regulation in the society, in the family, then there will be the entire family thing will be destroyed or will be spoiled. So these are the concerns which Arjuna is posing. We'll go to the next sloka. Aho bata mahat papam.
Aho bata mahat papam.
Kartum vyavasita vayam.
Kartum vyavasita vayam.
Yat raja sukalopena.
Yat raja sukha lobena.
Antum svajanam udhyata.
Hantam svajana mutyata.
Aho bata mahat papam.
Aho bata mahat papam.
Kartum vyavasita vayam.
Kartum vyavasita vayam.
Yat raja sukalopena.
Yat raja sukhena lobena.
Antum svajanam udhyata.
Hantum svajana mutyata.
Would like to do? Shweta Mataji, would you like to do?
I'll do.
Yeah.
Aho bat mahata papam
Aho bata mahat papam.
kartum vyavasita vayam
Kartum
Kartum
vyavasita
vyavasita
vayam.
vayam.
yadra rajya sukhalobhena
Yatra
Yatra
sukalopena.
antum svajanam uttayatah.
Hantum
Hantam
svajanam
svajana
udhyata.
mutyata.
Aho alas, vata, how strange, mahat, great, papam, sin, kartum, to perform, vyavastitaha, have decided, vayam, we, yat, because, rajya sukham lobhena, driven by greed for royal happiness, hantum, to kill, swajanam, kinsmen, udyataha, trying. Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness. We are intent on killing our own kinsmen. Purpose. Driven by selfish motives, one may be inclined to such sinful acts as the killing of one's own brother, father, or mother. There are many such instances in the history of the world. But Arjuna, being a saintly devotee of the Lord, is always conscious of moral principles and therefore takes care to avoid such activities.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, thank you. So we can see that the instances in the world, which king was that who tried to kill his own father and put in the prison? We all have read it. Aurangzeb.
Yes, Aurangzeb.
What did he try to do? He put his own father in the prison. We see that there are people, but how Arjuna is, he's showing a very saintly character. He's again and again thinking that he will make sinful activities, but are they Who are they? They were all aggressor, atatayina. We saw the 6 type of aggression they did. What is the 6 type of aggression? We saw who can be killed, and by killing them, you cannot incur any sin. So one is the poison giver. Second one is one who sets fire to the house. Third one is one who attacks with the deadly weapons. Fourth one is one who plunder riches. Fifth one is one who occupies another land. And the last one is one who kidnaps a wife. And we saw that Kauravas have got 6 out of 6 in this list of aggression. They are the aggressors. So actually, Arjuna will not incur any sin by killing them because they are not ordinary people whom he is killing. He is just going to kill the aggressors. But still, Arjuna, because of his saintly character. So where all the things we saw the saintly character of Arjuna? We saw in the sloka 1.28, we saw that Arjuna was soft-hearted. We saw the soft-hearted feature of the Arjuna. And then we saw that in the sloka number 35, what did he say? Api trailokya rajyasya hetum kimnu mahikrite. He does not want to kill even in the exchange of 3 worlds. Even if you give all the 3 worlds, I am not going to kill them. So this also shows his saintly nature. And then in the sloka number 36, he is also ready to forgive the aggressors. Because aggressors, there is no need to be forgiven. If you're killing the aggressor, you're not going to incur any sinful reactions. But he was ready to forgive even the aggressors. That also shows a saintly character. And in sloka number 1.37 and 38, he says, he considered the evil consequence even at the risk of refusing the obligation to fight. Some evil consequences he is seeing. What are the evil consequences he is seeing? Mainly on the destruction of the family tradition and pollution of the women. And he also, in sloka number 39 and 40, we say that he is feeling that it is his obligation to protect the family tradition and the morals. He does not think that, Arjuna did not think that he is transcendental because he is a friend of Krishna, devotee of Krishna. I have no obligation. No, yes, Arjuna does not have any obligation because he is a devotee, but he is thinking in terms of the common people. Arjuna, being saintly, is conscious of moral principle. How he can kill one's own relative based on the selfish motive. He thinks that here, what does he think? He thinks himself to be selfish. Is Arjuna selfish?
No, he's not.
But he thinks himself to be selfish. We could see that. He thinks that because I want the kingdom, I want to become the king, so I am fighting. And because I am going to fight, this thing, so many damages will happen. So why should I do that? So this shows the saintly character of the Arjuna. Okay. So we'll go to the next sloka. Is this sloka clear?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes,
Yadi mam apratikaram
Yadi ma pratikaram
ashastram shastrapanaya
ashastram shastrapanaya
dadarashtrarane hanyus
dadarashtra sarane
tanme shemataram bhavet.
tanme shemataram bhavet.
Yadi mam apratikaram
Yadi ma pratikaram
ashastram shastrapanaya
ashastram shastrapanaya
dadarashtrarane hanyus
dardarashtranya hanyu
tanme shemataram bhavet.
tanme kshemataram bhavet.
Amrita Mataji, would you like to do?
Yeah, Mataji. Yadi mam apratikaram
Yadi mam apratikaram
ashastram shastrapanaya
Ashastram
Ashastram
Shastrapanaya.
Dhatrashtra Rame Haneyas
Datarashtrarane Hanyus.
Hanyus
Tanme Shimatram Bhave.
Tanme Shemataram
Shematram
Bhavet.
Yadi, even if, Mam, me, Apratikam, without being resistant, Asastram, without being fully equipped, Shastra Panaye, those with weapons in hand, Dhartarashtra, the sons of Dhritarashtra, Rame on the battlefield, Hanyu may kill, Tat, that, me, for me, Tit, Shemataram, better, Bhavet, would be. Mataji, I'll read for you.
Yeah, please, purport and translation and purport both.
Better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hands, go to kill me unarmed and unresisting on the battlefield. Perfect. It is the custom, according to Kshatriya fighting principle, that an unarmed and unwilling foe should not be attacked, Arjuna. However, decided that even if attacked by the enemy in such an awkward position, he would not fight. He did not consider how much the other party was bent upon fighting. All these symptoms are due to soft-heartedness resulting from his being a great devotee of the Lord.
Yeah. So we saw here in this sloka, Arjuna is ready to be killed. Forget about killing others. He is ready to be killed himself. Arjuna thinks he wants to do atonement just because he has a thought of killing them. So that thought itself is so sinful that I need to go for an atonement. And that atonement he thinks is maybe he being killed. So for Kshatriya, not fighting means what? Losing the occupation.
Battle.
Occupation. What is the occupation of Kshatriya?
to fight.
Is to fight. Not fighting means losing the occupation. So for a Kshatriya, thinking of begging is what? Disastrous. Kshatriyas, they don't even ask for favor from others. We saw in the previous class, we spoke about this pastime where Bhima met Hanuman. When he was about to look for the 1,000-petal lotus flowers for Draupadi, we saw that Bhima met Arjuna. During that time, when Bhima was going to collect those lotus flowers, that lake was guarded by Kuberas, the Yakshas and Kuberas, the people. So Bhima just jumped inside that and he was collecting the flowers. So the Yakshas and the Kubera system, they got very angry at Bhima. They said that you just cannot jump and take the flowers. This lake belongs to Kubera. You're supposed to take permission from him. And if he allows, you can take. Bhima said, what? Permission? I am a Kshatriya. I can't ask favor from anyone. Because the Kshatriya doesn't take favor from anyone. And he fought against all the Yakshas and all the Akshasas and he won. And he took the lotus flowers. So we see the spirit of Kshatriyas. They can't even ask a favor. And here, what is Arjuna saying? Even if they are killing me unarmed, that's okay. He's ready to be killed. So there is a principle. There are many rules and regulation of fighting. If the enemy's chariot is broken, the other army, they also get down the chariot and fight with them. Because one is in the higher position, other is a lower position. So they give equal opportunity for fighting. Unlike today, they don't hide in the trenches or they don't hide here and there and look at the opponent. They fight equally face to face in the same position. And even it so happened when Varaha, when he was fighting with Hiranyaksha, it happened that Hiranyaksha's Gada fell down. And Varaha would have killed him. He said, pick up your Gada. And then he killed him. Even there was, in Bhagavad Mahapuran, there is a mention of this incident where Chitraketu and Indra, they were fighting with each other. And during that time, what happened is Indra lost his weapons. It fell down. And then he told him, Vatsasura, he became later Vatsasura, he told him, pick up your weapons. and then he fought with them. So this is what the rule of Kshatriya. They have to fight with equal person, not at an advantage. However, we saw that later Arjuna, how did he kill Karna? Anybody knows how Karna was killed?
His chariot was stuck actually. His wheels of the chariot got stuck.
And what did Karna do? Karna got down
Karna was trying
the chariot and he was trying to lift the chariot. And during that time, what did Arjuna did?
Yeah, the arrow was actually pierced.
Yeah, killed. So here, although the law is violated, but it is done by whose order?
Krishna.
It is done by Krishna's
order. Orders of Krishna.
Krishna. So Krishna's orders are absolute. So one should not think that, Krishna is very immoral. Today some of the philosophers and so-called preachers who are not devotees, they think Krishna is so immoral. He preaches something and he does something. And in fact, Krishna also told Yudhishthira to speak the lie. What lie he told Yudhishthira? To go and say Dronacharya? Go and tell to Dronacharya that your son Ashwatthama was killed. Because Yudhishthira is known for speaking truth. If Dronacharya does not undergo lamentation, it is very difficult to kill him. So something should be done, to weaken Dronacharya, to weaken his spirit. Because losing the son will make everybody to lose their spirit.
Yeah.
So what he did is, he told Yudhishthira, and what did Yudhishthira say?
He refused.
He said, Krishna, how can I speak lie? He was not ready to speak lie when Krishna told him to do that. But here, who is telling that? It's Krishna. When Krishna says, it's absolute. One should not think about the moral standards of the today's world. For that reason, it is mentioned in Mahabharata that Yudhishthira has to see the hell. He has to just have a small duration, like a small camp. He has to be in the hell. For what reason? Because he did not abide to the
Krishna's words.
Words. So Krishna is above all the duality. So to say life for Krishna in a mundane consideration, it might be right or wrong. But in spiritual platform, Krishna is above all the dualities. Krishna cannot do anything wrong. So the principle of Kshatriya Dharma is, we see that when the opponent is unarmed, they cannot be encountered. But here Arjuna is ready to give up his life for this reason. Because why? He was what is the quality of Arjuna mentioned here?
He was soft-heartedness.
And who has the soft heart? A devotee of the Lord. How is the heart of the devotee? A devotee is very, very soft. Vaishnava is a paradukha dukhi. A Vaishnava thinks about the misery of the others. Like we see Prabhupada. Prabhupada was already living in Vrindavan. He was living in Radha Damodar temple. He was living in the samadhis of where all the Goswamis were there. So he was very happy. He was chanting his rounds. He was reading scriptures. He was doing. But why did Prabhupada take so much of efforts to go to US, that too in a cargo ship, suffering heart attacks, without any penny, without any proper place to live? Why did he suffer for? What is the reason for Prabhupada to do all those things?
Was instructed by Krishna?
Yeah, he got an instruction from his spiritual master, but above all, he is a Vaishnava. A Vaishnava is a paradukha dukhi. He cannot see others suffering because he knows that people are in ignorance. They are suffering because of that ignorance. They are getting intoxicated. They are eating meat. They are having illicit relation. All these things are happening because of what? Because of ignorance. So Prabhupada went risking his own life, risking everything, being in Vrindavan and living in a place like he mentions in one of the poem when he just landed in US, he mentions US as a terrible place. For a Vaishnava, imagine the US, how terrible it can be. Correct? So this is how the thing. So here Arjuna is also soft-hearted. So this soft-heartedness comes by being a devotee. When somebody becomes a devotee of Krishna, yasyasa bhuktir bhagavat akinchana sarvair gunai. So he gets all the good qualities of devatas. So if you want to develop good qualities, try to become a devotee, and all the good qualities will automatically manifest itself. So we don't have to go to some seminars on to know how we can be good, how we can be nice, how we can be compassionate, how we can lead our life. No, just become a devotee and all the good qualities will manifest itself. Haro abhakta kuto mahan guna. But even if somebody is a non-devotee, he does not have any good quality because manoratha, he is dwelling on a mental platform. So a non-devotee may not have any good qualities because everything he is doing is he is dwelling on his mental platform. But a devotee acting in the orders of Krishna, he eventually all the good qualities gets manifested in him. Okay. And Arjuna, now we see he is trying to take the bow and arrow. And instead of fighting, what did he think? He decides not to fight at all. That's what we will see in the next sloka. He wants to fight, but finally he declares to Krishna, I'm just not going to fight. So we'll do that sloka, okay? Is it clear, this sloka?
Yeah,
Ji Mataji.
I will do the 46th one.
Ji, ji.
Sanjaya Uvacha.
Sanjaya Uvacha.
Evam Muktva Juna Sankhe.
Evamuktvārjuna Sankhe
Ratopasta Upavishat.
Rate Pasta Upavishat
Visrujya Sasharam Chapam.
Vishrujaya Sasham Chapam
Shoka Samvigna Manasa.
Shoka Samvignamanaha
Evam Muktvajuna Sankhe.
Evamuktvārjuna Sankhe
Ratopasta Upavishat.
Rato Upasata
Visrujya Sasharam Chapam.
Visrujaya Paschapam
Shoka Samvigna Manasa.
Shoka Samvignamanaha.
Who would like to do this sloka? Anybody who did not participate so far? Would like to do?
I can try.
Yes, please, Prabhuji.
Sanjaya Uvacha
Sanjaya Uvacha
Evam Utkavara Guna Sankhe
Evam Arjuna
Vamsarjan
Rathopasta Upavisat
Ratopasta Upavisha
Visarjasasaram Chapam
Visrujya Shasharam Chapam
Shoka Samvigna Manasa.
Shoka
Shokam
Shambhigna Manasa.
Vignamanasa.
You can do the word-to-word translation on purport, please.
Sanjaya Uvacha Sanjaya said, Evam, thus, Uktava, saying, Arjuna, Sankhya, in the battlefield, Ratha, of the chariot, Upaste, on the seat, Upavisat, sat down again, Visarja, putting aside, Sasram, along with arrows, Kapam, the bow, Shoka, by lamentation, Samvigna, distrust, Manasa, within the mind. Translation, Sanjaya said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief. Purport, while observing the situation of his enemy, Arjuna stood up on the chariot, but he was so afflicted with lamentation that he sat down again, setting aside his bows and arrows. Such a kind and soft-hearted person in the devotional service of the Lord is fit to receive self-knowledge. Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purports to the first chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita.
In a matter of observing the army on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Okay. So here we see this Arjuna, instead of fighting, what did he say? He decides not to fight at all because his mind was overwhelmed with lamentation. And we saw in the previous sloka, there is a particular word called Yadi Mam Apratikaram. Apratikaram means trying not to counteract. So generally in the material world, what do we try? For everything, we try to counteract. If we have some disease, we try to counteract with some medicine. If it is hot, we try to counteract by using air conditioner. If it is very cold, what do? We try to counteract it by using the heaters. So for everything, we are trying to counteract. Like if someone is drowning, what do? We try to help them. So the material world is full of counteraction. And in Bhagavatam, it is mentioned that material world means full of danger. Padam padam hi vipadamna tesham. So there is a danger at every step. So it is a material world means struggle for existence. So there is danger and we are trying to counteract the danger. So just to be happy, we need to work. We need to do so much of counteractive measures. So this particular sloka in Srimad Bhagavatam says, Samasrita ye pada pallava plava mahat padam punya yasho murare bhavam budir vatsa padam param padam 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 hi vipadham natesham. So for those who have accepted the boat of the lotus feet of the Lord, who is a shelter of the cosmic manifestation and is famous as Murari, the enemy of Mura Demon, the ocean of the material world is just like a water contained in the calf's footprint. How much water does the calf's footprint can hold? A calf's footprint, how much water can it hold?
Very little.
Very little. But how is the samskara? It's an ocean with no shore. Can we see the shore in the ocean? We cannot see so samskaras. But for a devotee, what does it become? One who takes the shelter of Krishna, this Bhavasagara, it becomes like a water contained in the calf's footprint. And what is their goal? Their goal is Parampadam, is Vaikunta, the place where there is no material miseries. You don't have to try every minute how to counteract the mosquitoes or how to counteract the heat or how to counteract the disease. We don't have to do that. Not a place where there is danger at every step. Padam padam yat vipadhamna tesha. We know in the material world, it is full of danger. We go to a particular place, but are we sure that we are going to come home properly? No. We have all come across an incidents where people undergo tragedies, even in the road accidents and like that. We see many such things happens. So that is what it says, padam padam yat vipadhamna tesham. There is a danger in every step. So Krishna is the purest. He is not immoral. Everything about Krishna is pure. But some people, what do? Is they talk that Krishna is immoral. They don't know things properly and still they wanted to talk about Krishna. But to understand Krishna, it takes lot of lifetimes. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatma su durlabha. So to understand Krishna, it takes many, many lifetimes. Bahunam janmanamante Vasudeva Sarvamiti. So it is not very easy for people to understand Krishna. In other words, Krishna says in 7th chapter, Manushyanam Sahasreshu Kashin Yatati Siddhaye Yatatam Api Siddhanam Kashin Mambeti Tatvata. So only 1 in 1,000 can understand Krishna to some extent, and only 1 in a million people can understand Krishna to the perfection. So we see in the material world, there are some siddhis. I don't know how many of you had a opportunity to go to Mahakumbh. Did anybody in this group could go to Mahakumbh? Okay, I think if you have gone, you must have seen lot of yogis over there.
We saw it on the video actually.
Yeah, on the video. But I think Mahakumbh, many yogis, they come. Because the yogis, they attain perfection. but that is only in the material point of view. They get some siddhis. We saw that when we did some introduction class, that Lagima, Mahima, they can become lighter than a cotton swab. They can become heavier than a mountain. Like that, they obtain some siddhis. But these are all only in the material point of view. But who is Krishna? Yogeshwara. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. Krishna is Yogeshwara, and nobody can get the siddhi as Krishna. Everybody, others can be yogi, but the master of yogis is Krishna. So that is about Krishna. So one should try to understand Krishna. He should not think Krishna as a human being. Krishna is very powerful. Even when he was a child of just 10, 11 days old, he killed Putana. And when he was just 7 years old, he lifted Govardhan Hill. So here we saw that Krishna has already arranged the battle. He knows that, and Arjuna is aware that Krishna wants this battle. But what did Arjuna say? Yadi mam apratikaram. Arjuna says that he doesn't want to do the battle. So here Arjuna is aware about the Krishna's desire, but still he's speaking his own philosophy. That means Arjuna is placing himself in the position of a ordinary man. Is he behaving in his own position? Do you think Arjuna does not know that Krishna has already decided about this battle and he is just going to be an instrument?
Yeah.
He knows that. But why Arjuna is placing himself as an ordinary person? Because ordinary man does not know what is Krishna's desire, and he manufactures his own thoughts and philosophy. But Arjuna is a friend of Krishna, and he is called as Gudakesh. Gudakesh means one who is overcome the ignorance. He knows Krishna's desire, but still he says, why Arjuna is behaving like that? Because Krishna wants to give Bhagavadgita through the medium of Arjuna. For example, if a rich man is playing the role of a poor man in a skit, does that mean that the rich man became poor?
No.
So this is the same thing here. It is happening with Arjuna. He acts ignorant, but actually he is not ignorant. So here Arjuna is made to act like this upon the will of
Krishna.
Because everything is already been decided by Krishna. Arjuna is only becoming an instrument. But here what we see is Arjuna says that I just don't want to fight. And it is like, if you're taking a common example, let us assume that there is a marriage ceremony and everything is arranged. The hall has been booked. 500 guests has been invited. They all arrived, and the pujari, Prohit, he also started chanting all the mantras. The girl and the boy also came and they sat near to each other. And just before tying the Mangal Sutra, the boy says, I don't want to tie the Mangal Sutra. How will it be? How will it be? So it is the same thing what Arjuna is doing. People all over the world, they came to fight this battle. We saw how many people, there were totally how many Akshoganis? How many Akshoganis were there in total?
17 or 18.
18. That's what, remember
18.
that word 18? Yeah. Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters.
18.
The war was fought for 18 days and there were 18 Akshoganis. So
And
this many people
also
have already arrived. For what? To have a vacation in Kurukshetra? Did they came for a vacation?
Correct.
No, they came to fight.
Fight.
And what did Arjuna say finally?
I don't want to
I
fight.
don't want to fight. So he puts himself in a very awkward situation, saying that I'm not going to fight.
Right.
And who is saying this? Sanjaya is saying this to Dhritarashtra. And how will Dhritarashtra feel? Dhritarashtra will be jumping with joy.
Yeah.
He will think that, oh, Arjuna is not going to fight, so the kingdom is going to come to them. But then what does Sanjaya says? Wait, listen, don't forget that who is with him.
Yeah.
Krishna is with him. Yes, Arjuna might give up, but because he has taken shelter of Krishna, Krishna is not going to leave this. So this is how, it's beautifully, this chapter is ending. And the next few verses in the second chapter, we will see that Krishna will start refuting whatever questions, whatever arguments Arjuna put on sinful reactivities, laws of enjoyment, compassion, what is real compassion, and the family destruction, everything. So Krishna will give the answer for all these questions. And Arjuna will further ask more questions. And Krishna will further answer the questions. So that is how the entire Bhagavad Gita, the flow of Bhagavad Gita is. So the first chapter is more or less observing the army and setting up the scene. It is more of, the content of Mahabharata, where we went little more in detail because we also analyzed about all the fighters who were there, and we went little more deeper in the first chapter. But in the nutshell, the first chapter, we can see that how Krishna is is a Bhakta Vatsala character. We see how he became a chariot driver for his devotee. And we could see that thing, and how Krishna has not even started speaking till now. We see that Krishna is just hearing. Whatever Arjuna wants to say, Krishna is only hearing. So until the 11th sloka of the second chapter, Krishna will not open his mouth. He will only open, until Clive, not in the 11th chapter, second sloka. Until the second sloka of the second chapter, Krishna will not open his mouth.
2.2.
2.2. From then he will start speaking. Yeah. And then the refuting will happen from 2.11. All the arguments that whatever Arjuna is posing, that will start from that. So this is about the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. I hope you're all clear with the chapter 1. Any questions you have particularly, or is everything is clear? The slokas are also posted, so you can try to recite the sloka also properly. I've posted like 10 slokas or 8 slokas. So
yes,
every day you can take out maybe 5 minutes. Even if you're reciting each sloka three times, very soon we can master them. Don't try to go with the numbers. Just go, even if 1 sloka a day or 2 sloka a day, if you're able to properly pronounce, that is good enough. Because every day when you're doing 2 slokas, that means to do 46 slokas, it will hardly take 23 days. So within a month, less than a month, in 3 weeks, you can complete the proper recitation of the slokas. And go over the purport one more time. Whatever we have read, go through the translations and go through the purport. Have a regular habit of reading Bhagavad Gita every day, at least 2 verses. Hear from the pure devotee Prabhupada. All these things will make us, remember. And how do we apply the knowledge of Gita in our day-to-day life? One is the knowledge is there. Second thing is, how do we apply? See, the same Bhagavad Gita, both Arjuna heard and Dhritarashtra also heard. Dhritarashtra heard through Sanjay. But did Dhritarashtra had any impact on hearing Bhagavad Gita?
No.
But Arjuna had an impact. Finally, Arjuna says, whatever you say, I will do that. Nashto moha sambhoga. He says, all my doubts and everything got cleared. So I am completely convinced on whatever you spoke. So that is what Arjuna decided. But did Dhritarashtra become a saintly person after hearing Bhagavad Gita?
No.
Because he was not a devotee. So that's why Krishna says, Bhaktosi me sakacheti. The reason why he spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, this line is very important. One has to become a friend and a devotee of Krishna. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. Even in the 18th chapter, Krishna says, only my devotee can understand. So for us to understand Bhagavad Gita properly, we should also become a devotee of Krishna. We should have to accept Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead, at least theoretically, in the beginning. If you're not properly convinced, at least theoretically accept and act, then the knowledge of Gita will definitely penetrate in us. But because without becoming a devotee of Krishna, it is very difficult to understand the Bhagavad Gita. So the main qualification is becoming a devotee of Krishna. And for us to become a devotee, we are all doing some devotional practices called sadhana. So each and every one of us are doing some sadhanas according to the time we have. So please allocate a particular time in a day where you can spend time exclusively with Krishna, especially the japa sessions. Plan in such a way that, yes, japa can be done anywhere, anytime, any place. There is absolutely no rules and regulations. But if you can give a separate time, a proper time where you can connect to Krishna, because japa is one place where you're directly getting connection with Krishna. So you can, develop your relation with Krishna by chanting good rounds of chanting. Just chant and hear. Whatever you chant, hear. Whatever you hear, chant. So don't do anything other than that. Try to only chant and hear, and look for some quiet place where you have the facility to only hear your own chanting rather than hearing other noises around. That will help you to further advance. A proper japa will help us to advance in Krishna consciousness. Proper japa and honoring the prasadam and reading Prabhupada's books and hearing Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. Of the 9 devotional process, Shravanam is very important. Hearing about Krishna by reading and by hearing. Kirtanam, talking about Krishna or chanting the Krishna's holy names. These are all in the Kirtan. When Shravanam and Kirtanam is there, what happens? Smaranam will automatically come. Whatever you talk the most, whatever you hear the most, that is what you would remember the most. So this is what Arjuna was told by Krishna, Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Mam Anusmara Yudhyacha. So Arjuna did not have facility to chant the holy names or to do any sadhanas in the battlefield. So what did Krishna say? Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu. Sarveshu, all the time. Mam Anusmara. Always remember me and do your fighting. So some of us are working. That's okay. You can do your work. But while you work, what you can do is you can always try to Mam Anusmara. Remember Krishna. That is also a devotional service. Remembering Krishna is also a devotional service. Sometimes you may not be able to chant. Sometimes you may not be able to hear. But you can always remember him.
Yeah.
And even in the 7th chapter, Krishna says so many ways in which we can remember him. Rasoham apsu kaunteya. I am the taste of water. Prabhashmi shashi suryayo. I am the sun and the moonlight. Shabdake paurusham rishu. I am the sound om. And punyogandha prativyamcha. I am the fragrance of the flowers. Buddhi buddhimatam chaham. I am the intelligence of the intelligent. Balam balavatam chaham. I am the strength of the strong. So everything is Krishna's only. So even while being in the material world, everybody drinks water.
Yeah.
When we drink water, can we remember Krishna? Krishna, this is you. The taste of water is you. Either we can see the sunlight or the moonlight. Can we remember Krishna by seeing them? So there are so many ways in which we can remember Krishna. So try to remember Krishna some way or the other. Always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. So this is the verdict of all the Vedic scriptures. If you want to put it in one line, always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. That's how we can conclude the Vedic scriptures. So this should be our goal of life, because Ante Narayana Spriti, in the end of the life, one should be able to remember Krishna. So, but if you want to remember in the end, the training should happen
Now, every time.
Every day the training. A cricketer, they are playing matches sometimes. But does that mean that 9 months they are taking vacation and only the IPL match, they all just get out of their home and they take the bat and ball and they play? Are they not in constant training?
Yeah.
We see that even in the material world, whatever good thing, everybody is in the training. For exam, children have to prepare throughout the year, not just before the day of the exam and then they can remember everything and write. Correct? So similarly, this is also a sadhana. We are all in the training period. We should train ourselves to remember Krishna. And the easiest way to remember Krishna is increase your hearing and chanting, Shravanam and Kirtanam. Okay, Mataji, any questions or any realizations or anything from the chapter 1?
I think everything is clear.
Everything is clear from chapter 1?
Yeah.
Yes, Mataji. Each one, every one of you feel that way?
Yes,
Yes,
Mataji.
Okay, fine. In case you have missed any classes from chapter 1, please try to go back to the recording and listen, because each and every topic has been given in depth, especially classes like samskaras and chaste women, like many things we know that we have gone in depth. So take out your time. Yes, outwardly you will understand. Whatever you get, that is sufficient enough. But if you can go through in depth, that will further help you for deepening your understanding of these concepts. Okay. So we'll do the Narsimha prayers.
Ji Mataji.
One second, I'll just post this. I hope you're all chanting. Some of
Yes,
you are
Mataji.
reporting, but I hope all of you are chanting.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes,
I'm
Mataji.
not reporting.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
you're
reporting,
chanting.
but
Yeah.
yes.
Nice. So please also give at least 15 minutes of reading. A minimum 15 minutes of reading also helps a lot, because you're getting the association of the pure devotee. Prabhupada's books are so powerful. So please try to take out at least 15 minutes for reading. Okay? To start with. Okay, fine. Namaste Narasimhaya Praladalalayine Hiranyakashipurvashaka Kilatampanakalaye Ito Narsima Parato Narsima Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsimha Bhagi Narsimho Hridaye Narsimho Narsimha Madim Sharanam Prapati Tava Kara Kamala Varina Kam Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringam Keshavadrita
Narahari
Narahari
Rupa.
Jai
Jai
Jagadish
Jagadish
Hare
Hare.
Jai Jagadish
Jagadish
Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya
Mahadev Jaya
Narsimhadev
Narsimhadev.
Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya
Jaya
Prahlad Maharaj Jaya
Jaya
Prahlad
Prahlad
Maharaj Jaya Prahlad
Prahlad
Maharaj
Maharaj.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada
Prabhupada,
Prabhupada
Prabhupada,
Jaya
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 Jaya Jaya
Prabhupada
Prabhupada,
Jaya
Jaya Guru
Gurudev
Gurudev, Gurudev,
Gurudev Gurudev
Gurudev,
Jaya
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 Gurudev
Gurudev.
Bhakti Vigna Vinashaka Narsimha Bhagwan ki
Jai,
Bhakti Shiromani Prahlad Maharaj ki Jai
Jai,
Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
So Narsimha Dev is the
Bhakti
one who protects our devotion, Bhakti Vigna Vinashaka. So in the material world, we pray Ganesha to remove all our obstacles. So similarly, in the Bhakti also, we all can come across some obstacles. So by praying Narsimha, he removes all our obstacles. So we need to take shelter of Narsimha Dev to protect our devotional service. So this is how we sing this Narsimha prayers, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself sang this Narsimha prayers many times. So we are all followers of him. So I think most of you are reciting this
Yes, ma'am.
Narsimha prayers at least once a day. It's very helpful
Yes.
and very powerful for devotees. Everything needs protection, because things can go away anytime. Maya is very strong. So we need to take shelter of Narsimhadev to protect our devotion. Okay, so please chant this Narsimha prayers. It hardly take 2-3 minutes. So keep these setters. There are so many prayers which can increase your intensity on bhakti, but I'm going one by one, not to overwhelm you with so many things. As you are done properly with this, then I can introduce more prayers. Because if this is not done properly and I give more, then it can get overwhelming. So it all depends on how much you are taking up. Based on that, we can do many, many prayers that can help us to intensify our bhakti. Okay? Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhayeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnav vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhagavad-gita as it is ki jai. Hare Krishna. So by next week, all of you please read the entire first chapter one more time. Every sloka, translation and purport, you have 1 week. So 46 slokas are there. So every day, if you're trying to do 5 slokas, then you can go through. So just go through, because you should be in such a position that in future, you should also be able to give the class. So prepare yourself in such a way that you're also very thorough with chapters, because if this knowledge is penetrated within our hearts nicely, then it will definitely help us in a long way. First, we should become a proper devotees, and then we can give the devotion to others. This will impel you. I also need to preach. What benefit I got, I should also give it to others. So eventually, everybody should become the army of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He wants Yare Dekho, Tare Kaho, Krishna Upadesh. Whomsoever we see, give them the Krishna Upadesh, instruction of Krishna. Talk them about Bhagavad Gita, talk them about Bhagavatam, talk them about Krishna. So this is the greatest welfare activity that one can do in this Kali Yuga, especially by giving Krishna consciousness to others. Become Krishna conscious by yourself, and then give it to others. Okay, so this is the beauty of Prabhupada's purport. Just by reading the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, many of us have become the devotees of Krishna. Correct? So this is the beauty of Prabhupada's purport, how making us into devotion right from chapter 1. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Tanuja Mataji, I might not attend the next Sunday class.
Okay.
I will be in Puri. I don't know what is the schedule
correct.
for.
I understand that. Correct. You will be in the Puri. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, correct. You can follow the recording if you miss the class. Yes. Yeah.
If there is nothing from their schedule, I'll attend.
Yeah, it depends how it is. It's too based on that we can make a decision. Yeah. Anyway, you will carry the headphone with you, and we will see how things are.
I'll be carrying the headphone.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, is everything okay? You joined like 3-4 classes, but are the things okay with you?
Yes.
Are you able to follow the first chapter to a certain extent?
Yes. I'm going through recordings also.
Okay, very good, Prabhuji. That will help you. And today we had a quick recap also. Yes. At least we saw superficially, or not very superficially, understood at least what is the theme of the first chapter. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.